What's up guys, Speed here, and today we're going to be talking about Drow Ranger. I personally thought this hero was just awful. I literally thought this was one of the worst heroes in Dota after the changes. I'm not kidding. Multi-shot did get recently buffed, which helps her out a bit, but like when I saw the changes to the fact that she doesn't help her teammates anymore, right, that she doesn't provide any auras, I was like, this hero is garbage. But that's not the case, and let's figure out why on Dota 2 Pro Tracker, where the stats of only pro matches are kept track of, she has a 57% win rate. Clearly there's something very strong about this hero, and let's figure out why. Since we're talking about new heroes, I've been actually thinking a lot about Storm Spirit and Bounty Hunter in particular, and I've even played them recently, and I made content on them. So over on the main gameleap website, I made 2 new random to 6Ks. If you're not familiar with what that is, I'm actually playing a lot of games on my either main account or on an account that I use to make this content, and I posted on there really discussing my games and trying to analyze it so, you know, players like you and me can really talk about it and understand what is the thought process of a very high MR player. So if you're interested in that, click the link down below right now, right, and sign up for gameleap. I'm making a lot of those. I just played a ton of new games, and I plan on making content and random to 6K videos on those as well, so check it out. So we're going to be following Era's Drow gameplay, and what I think is interesting about Drow and what I want to look at is her ability to simply actually fight. You actually can fight on Drow, which is surprising. It's not like the old Drow where you would sort of just sit in the jungle whole game and chill. You're actually interested in showing up to early game fights, and I think this appeals to a lot of low MR players where fighting is just a meta. Frankly, because that's what I see in those pubs, so, you know, I guess it makes sense and it works. And it works in this high MR game as well. He ends up 16-3 this game, which is pretty outstanding, and let's take a look at why. So first off, I really like the draft around the Drow. Now, this has to be said because I don't think you can just pick Drow every game. In fact, when I look at the enemy team comp, I'm like, good lord, Drow is just going to get jumped over and over again. But why can they actually prevent this? Well, first off, they have a Winter Wyvern, which is actually very important. This hero is just like insane with Drow, because not only do you provide Winter's Curse, which is some of the best counter initiation in the game, but you also kind of play like the same range as Drow, meaning you can just zone people out and slow them to infinity. So you're really good at kiting, right? I also think the Cold Embrace can be nice with the Drow to save her. In general, the counter initiation, great with Drow. I think Bat Rider is also fantastic with Drow. It's a Bat 5 from Synderen. And the reason why I like this so much is Bat Rider is a very strong laner. I genuinely believe Drow still struggles in lane, will get run over by the majority of matchups, right? It's a 1 armor hero with very low HP, and as a result, a hero like Bat Rider enables Drow to get off to a good start. Now, he's linking against the Tiny Dooms, so they're guaranteed to at some point close the gap on her. In addition, they're doing this range creep hill shenanigans that you can do with Tiny. If you aren't familiar how you do this, you just kind of stand your hero over here and then toss, and then you can keep tossing onto the previous range creeps. It's bizarre. Don't worry too much about that. But for the laning stage, nothing insane, right? You're going to take your multi-shot at level 2, you're going to take your Frost Arrow at level 1 just to harass people, and that's about it. Now, looking at spellcasting for the laning stage, you're really just looking to cast your multi-shot anytime your support needs help or they group up, right? It actually does an insane amount of damage. That was like a 200 damage nuke or something like that, which is relatively insane. In addition, it slows, so it's really, really good for kiting out the opponent. If you don't understand how it works, it basically works on your base damage. So depending on how much base damage you have, you do a specific amount of damage with the arrows. It has a slow duration, and it also has a range multiplier, which I believe means based upon your attack range, your arrows will go a specific distance. So Dragonlance seems to be good, if that's what it means. Sorry if it's not. I personally haven't played Drow since the patch. I've been just really curious about this hero. So really talking about the laning stage, it's important to understand if you're against a melee hero, you should be harassing them with Frost Arrows and Frost Arrows only. If you don't understand this mechanic, Frost Arrows is a unique attack modifier, and what that means is any spell that affects auto attacks or like is based upon auto attacks, like Poison Attack from Viper or Huskar's Burning Spears, don't aggro creeps when you use it. So he can hit the Doom without actually aggroing the creeps. So it's just kind of a great way to harass people in lane, and that's why you typically want it at level 1. In terms of first items, for the most part, you're going to want the Wraith Bands to start the game. It's just the best item in terms of buffing up your multi-shot and being able to harass people, as well as getting some HP that Drow sort of lacks. But yeah, guys, please don't overthink the laning stage for the most part. You're just going to take your level 2 Frost Arrows, your multi-shot, and then you take Gust if you really need it. You can take Gust at level 3 if you think the lane is abysmal. Let's say the enemy team has a Bat Rider who's running at you, but Gust is a really good option to protect yourself. But other than that, it's really just last hitting. He's using multi-shot to secure range creeps, which is something to consider. It's basically your nuke in lane, and whenever you have a nuke on any hero, you're essentially going to use it to secure range creeps the majority of the time. So yeah, that's exactly what he does, and I think it allows for Drow to actually not lose every single range creep like she would in the past. So that's kind of nice. In addition, we see the Tiny running at her here, and obviously he's going to end up dying. Right, it's just Drow against Doom Tiny. As I said, they're going to close the gap, but the Gust bought a lot of time and it enables him to pick up a kill onto the Tiny before dying, which isn't, it makes that death not too bad. Next thing I want to say about Drow is that you really need clarities now. This hero used to not need much mana at all, but considering you're going to be casting Gust defensively in these harder lanes, you need mana for multi-shot and you need mana for frost arrows. You really, really need clarities, otherwise you're not going to be able to either go aggressive or jungle on this hero. And you'll see that's exactly what he's doing here. He pops a clarity and instantly he's able to use the multi-shot to actually hit both of the camps, right? So he can use it to hit the small camp and this medium camp over here, which is a big deal and should be used and considered every single time you're playing Drow in this case. You really want to look to make stacks and fire from multiple camps with your multi-shot arrow thingies, because they do not stop at one unit, they just keep going. So the first fascinating play that he makes this game that really boggles my mind, but I guess it makes a lot of sense, is that after taking these stacks and kind of ramping up his efficiency, he feels like he's strong. He's level 6, right? So his bonus procs do 70 damage, it's a 20% chance, and he gets an agility bonus. So like, this ult is pretty strong for this early game damage spike with your multi-shot. And we're going to see that coming up here. The Slark is diving, he commits his Dark Pact, which means he's susceptible to the silence, which is exactly what happens. And now obviously he gets silenced up, and doesn't have his ulti, right? And as a result, he's just straight up dead, right? The multi-shot doing an immense amount of damage. The Gust plus the multi-shot just keeps them in this really nice distance where they can't really disengage. They're silenced and getting mauled, and it's so much damage. Like, it just really is. In addition, this rotation is really clean because it's in combination with this Nature's Prophet, who's able to push a tower with the Drow. So overall, this probably won't happen in a lot of your pubs where you're able to make coordinated tower pushes. In fact, what I highly recommend, guys, because I hear a lot of people thinking in their heads right now, like, my team, they're so bad and I can never push towers. Guys, stop pushing towers. Like, every single time I watch a 2, 3, 4, 5k game, people just are walking up to towers and feeding away their leads. It's like every single time. Towers are the worst place to fight in Dota 9 times out of 10 because the enemy team sees you and you don't see them and they can TP wherever. So it's really, really, really bad in the majority of the games. The reason why this tower push is okay is because he has a Nature's Prophet to help him out and the entire enemy team is pushing mid. If this is not the case, I guarantee you he'd be jungling right now. So please, please for me, do not just push towers just because you think you're a Drow Ranger. Only push them if you guaranteed are not going to get ganked. Otherwise, you should be ramping up farm, which is exactly what we're seeing here, right? There's a fight going out top, but for the most part, he's actually just jungling. He's just pushing in the nearby waves. He's getting to his next items. He's snowballing. In addition, now he even picks up bounty runes, and he's like, I'm just going to increase efficiency, but sees a top fight. After obviously getting the outpost, because you want to get outpost dispatch, he TP's top, which confuses me because in the past, I guarantee most Drows would just keep farming bottom, which would be generally the correct play because you wanted to just keep farming for your aura. But in this case, he could sort of just TP into fights and use multi-shot to have a ton of impact. As we'll see here, like, look at this damage. Each one of these multi-shots is 100 and about 20 damage on average, right? Some were 140, some were 110, and we'll see it here, right? As I'll slow it down, right? Hits him once, then goes for the multi-shot, 146, right? 146, 117, and then the kill is finished off on the last auto attack for 59 damage. It's really, really nuts because it basically doubles your base damage. So as long as you're buying all agility items like he is here, it allows multi-shot to be like in a 500 AoE nuke in the early game. That's physical damage. It's super strong, and it's on a low cooldown too. It's only 20 seconds. So really, I just think this spell is pretty insane. When I read it, I'm like, this is so bad. I'm like, what is this garbage? But it allows you to farm and fight in the early game. It's really incredible. It allows Drow to have this timing that she never had in the past. In addition, you're going to notice he pushes it out. He uses it to push out creep waves occasionally. So it's a multi-purpose tool that basically allows you to play safe, kill camps quickly, and fight effectively. So be open with using it is what I'd say, right? Don't just hold it all game. Don't just walk around, right? Make sure you're using it consistently because it is a really valuable spell that enables you to do a lot of farming and fighting quickly. Looking at this next fight here, I just think it's hilarious because once again he TP's mid, nearly killing the Slark, just a sliver of HP the Slark lives on with his magic wand. And funny enough, he gets tossed back in. But really, just the amount of damage you do just with this Dragonlance, you want to try to get this Dragonlance pretty early into the game. I recommend you strive for 13 or 14 minute timing. He has 3 Wraith Bands, so assuming you're going to be going the same thing as well, which I highly recommend because it works with your multi-shot, then, you know, a reasonable timing is around the 14 minute mark, 15 minute mark for your Dragonlance at max. And next thing you're just going to see here is, like, they're running at the Drow, and old Drow, none of them would care. They'd be like, oh, you know, we're all, like, half HP. Drow can't burst us. That's not how Drow works. This Drow, though? Like, look at this. Look at the Doom's HP. He's just half HP all of a sudden. Slark's like, yo! He's like, get me out! And the Slark does end up getting out, but obviously they all died. The Tiny died in the backline as well. I mean, it's like, you really, really want to defend towers as Drow. If you see the enemy team pushing towers, you are really good, because what happens naturally when people pushing towers is that they funnel, right? So specific heroes like Curse and Splinter Blast and things like Multi-Shot become 5 times better than fighting in other areas of the map, which is why I recommend, and basically what he's been doing, which is, you know, just pushing in lanes, jungling in areas, and then showing up to fights that are underneath their towers specifically. That's basically the only place he's fought in this game, and I want to make that clear, guys. Under towers. But I really don't have too much else to say. It's like, okay, he's farming Ancients here, and he's using multi-shot off cooldown to farm them. He's killing camps in between. He's getting jungle items for his team. And now he's like, okay, there's a mid tower to push. He sees the entire enemy team top, which is a great play, right? Good identification of what's going on in the map, not just being an AFK farmer, which a lot of carries make the mistake of. So overall, great play from Era coming out here. And then he's still shifting towards his team, right? He's like, okay, there's a top fight going on, right? So he's like, I'll show up and help out. So he's like, okay, quick little doom kill here, multi-shot, back to farming, right? I love that efficiency, guys. And if you're a carry player, you need to do exactly that. You need to be really, really quick. It's like gank, okay, I fight, I'm back to farming instantly. No hesitation, no time wasted. Otherwise, you will not become a high MMR carry player. It just won't happen. And the most important thing to understand about multi-shot, which I sort of mentioned earlier, but I just want to say again, is that you want to stack when you're farming, right? So he stacks a camp here, and then he multi-shots. He even tends to do it on an intelligence treads. That seems to be his preference, because it goes through the stacks, right? And it allows him to actually take stacks very effectively this game. But I never thought I'd say this, but Drow is like just one of the best lane shovers in Dota. I mean, obviously before in the past she had the precision aura that amped all the creeps, but I mean actually able to shove it by herself, right? And actually be able to create map pressure by herself. In the past, it really wasn't an option. You had to stay in the jungle the whole game because you couldn't kill waves that quickly, which essentially meant if you showed up in a creep wave, they could gank you relatively effectively and reliably. But now that's just not the case. You just click E from out of range, right? You click E from out of vision, which keeps you safe. You stay hidden, and then you show up to these fights late. You notice he's not initiating anything. He's not initiating any tower pushes, which you guys need to understand. Stop initiating. You're not going in first, you're cleaning up, right? Look, he was like, okay, I'm farming mid. Hero's going top. It's only 2. Clean up, quick. Right? Quick and efficient. And this is what I love about his gameplay this game. It's efficient, there's very little downtime, and that's what it takes to become a top tier carry player. It's all about this efficiency, right? You need to stop wasting time. After the fight, kills a camp. After the camp, back to the wave, right? I love this, I love this, I love this, and it's what I want to see from you guys in the future as well, because it's really what it takes to get to the next level, right? Gets a kill into Roche. Do you see how efficient this is? If there was no Roche or they couldn't take Roche, he'd kill a camp, or he'd kill top tier 1. Always going to the next camp or safe maneuver. He has put himself in very minimal dangerous positions this game and has been primarily safe, which has enabled him to put in work. In addition, Drow shreds Roshan as a heads up. This is absolutely insane how much damage he's dealing in combination with this Wyvern, and it's really just cool to me. I know Drow Roche fast in the past, so it's not like, oh, whoa, Drow complete rework, but it's like this hero is pretty strong at fighting and gives you this ability to take objectives and move around the map while having an Aegis as well, which is very strong. And finally, the same thing, just because this is by far the most important topic of this video that applies to like every single backliner hero, whether you're a Nature's Prophet, an Enchantress, or a Drow. Actually, Enchantress is a bit different because she's a bit tankier, but you want to clean up fights right here, right? He walks in, he uses his multi-shot to zone out some of the enemies, and then he can clean up from the side, right? A great Winter's Curse into Gust, absolute fantastic combo. You know what I mean? Another reason why Winter Wyvern is great with Drow. You just have this Curse into Silence, which enables them to pick up a kill on the Slark only because of the Curse into Gust. And Wyvern is definitely really good against Slark for that reason, because Slark cannot purge the Winter's Curse, making it basically a straight up counter. In terms of items, he went cool items this game. Obviously, besides the treads, the wraith bands, and then the pike, he's going for an ethereal blade next, which actually technically gives you the most agility. It's better than butterfly. And it actually gives you a lot more kill potential in my opinion, strictly because it gives you around a 500 damage nuke. Yes, the E-Blade, because you have such high agility, is a 500 damage nuke. I'm not kidding. I know that sounds like a high number, and that's because it is. But it really is that high, and it's insane how fast he's farming this game. Alright, I'm basically going to end up the video here just because I find this... Woo! He's got an Alpha Wolf on him, right? So, I mean, that's hype. That's already like giga damage. But in combination with this Alpha Wolf, which I think is frankly a broken neutral that is very underutilized, it gives everyone 30% damage. That is like by far one of the highest buffs in the game. Like 30% is an obscene number. But let's look at this right here. I want to tell you what number he hits Slark here for. 505. One right click was 505 damage. What? through BKB. He hit the man for 500 damage, and then he multi-shots for 250, and Slark's dead. The Slark's like, what is going on? He just died to abilities he didn't even know existed. Like, it's so comical. He just bursted a Slark, right? The Slark has 19 armor. It's no joke, and it's a Slark. I just don't even know what to think. It's like BKBs, you just completely ignore them as Drow, and you just absolutely melt people. I mean, he hit the guy for 500, and I know this is with the Alpha Wolf, which, guys, please use. It's an incredible creep. It really allowed the Drow to burst the Slark there, but overall, I mean, just fantastic play, and I'm impressed because I hadn't watched much Drow up until making this video and really looking through replays to make this video, and I've seen the same thing throughout multiple replays where it's like, I expect Drow to, like, at some point or another, not do well, but then I even see her in games where she's losing, and this multi-shot spell still allows you to defend towers unbelievably well. Gust is super high utility, and you still shred in terms of DPS, so it's like, even if you're behind, if you buy proper stats, you still deal a lot of damage, which makes Drow a hero with relative options. You know, even if you have a bad laning stage, which he definitely did not in this game, he had a good laning stage, but if you have a bad laning stage, you still can do fine. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this episode of, I don't know what, it's not an episode, this is not a series. If you enjoyed the replay analysis of Drow Ranger and are going to try her out, let me know in the comment section down below. Or if you're a Drow spammer, I'd like to hear what you think about the hero. I still have mixed opinions, but I've been more and more convinced that this hero is actually a potent carry and deserves a lot of respect when drafted around. I do think Drow needs a generally good draft to actually protect her in these fights. Otherwise, you still kind of get bursted, right? You still have the same issue as in the past, but overall, if you can get your spells off and just get your right clicks off, woo, it's a lot of damage. But thank you guys for watching. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one, and peace.
Are you tired of being hard stuck at your rank? Over at gameleap.com, we have a library of hundreds of guides authored by pro players and coaches covering literally every aspect of Dota. Whether you're looking to master a new hero or role, or just polish up your existing skills, GameLeap is the proven place for competitive gamers to hone their craft and unlock their secret potential. Hit the link on screen right now, to take advantage of our special offer for a 25% discount, guys. 25%, and start your journey today.